Hello you succulent sheep and welcome to my review of Katherine Full Body. So have you ever played Cubert? Well, how about playing a mature, sexier version of Cubert? Because that's kind of what this game is. Instead of in Cubert where you just go up and down, you need to get all the colours to match for the blocks. Though this you actually move the blocks yourself by making them floating in the air or just getting them hanging on by the edge. You'll hear that word a lot in the game, by the way. Gameplay wise, it is very much that puzzle game. There's loads of different techniques which you can learn to try and make yourself climb the tower as quickly and as easily as possible, just by getting up to a nice little red velvet carpet little square at the top and then jumping onto almost kind of like a doorbell, I guess, a weird old-timey doorbell, and getting yourself to safety. It's very difficult to describe Katherine as a game because, yeah, like I said, it is mostly a puzzle game, but there's different elements to it. It's kind of got a dating sim-esque vibe going on as well. It's not as well laid out as a dating sim in regards to, oh, you do this, this, and this is the best ending you're going to get. Speaking of, sorry, there are, 13 endings, I believe it is, on this one, which is great. I mean, it gives you loads of different variety, loads of different replay value to go back to it. Although, ironically, I got the same ending in this on my first try in Katherine Full Body as I did when I played Katherine the original, so that was quite interesting. It's good to know that past me seems to be exactly the same as current me, for better or for worse. One of the biggest difference, other than the new character that's been added called Rin, is actually the added remix mode. So as you see in some of the gameplay going on, there are some weird gem blocks. Those are the remix blocks, so they have to be moved together instead of them being individual blocks which you would have normally been able to move in the past just separately. So I did like that added element of challenge to just keep it fresh a little bit. Plus it makes it easier for newer players who want to go through the story again but make sure the puzzles are different. They can do it in the normal mode and then come to the remix mode after. Or, like me, if you're an absolute weirdo and hadn't played Katherine in a while, go straight into the remix mode and then just get absolutely frustrated at yourself and calling yourself a moron multiple times. Just briefly touching on the difficulty as well. It seems to be the difficulty spikes are all over the place, and what I mean by that is it isn't the bosses that make it difficult. It's actually some of the levels just before you get to the bosses which seem to be the hardest one. There was one level in particular that I'm going to just hate and scream at myself for many times because I couldn't just get past the start of it. My brain couldn't rattle and just get the right combination of techniques to get up to like 6 flights of blocks. I was going to say stairs, they're kind of stairs, but 6 flights of blocks, and then you're absolutely fine, you can just go up from there. And I was almost banging my head on the table, just screaming, or a desk I should say, screaming at myself because I just couldn't figure out the one technique I needed to do, which was literally just give yourself a little bit of space and then push one of the big blocks or the remix blocks away, and then that was it. Just keep doing that a few times and then you were fine. But it took me ages to do. Also, as I'm already moaning, the camera hates you in a lot of places. What you can do is you can hang off blocks and then just kind of go around them as long as other blocks are connected, and you can still reach them without obviously going up or down if you're kind of stuck to it on that kind of level. But if you go behind the blocks, the camera would just kind of do what it wants when it feels like, for some weird reason. I remember having that issue in the original Katherine, and it doesn't seem to be fixed in Katherine Full Body, so it kind of put me off a lot of the time when I needed to go around the back. I was like, oh please just let me go. And my last bit of moaning, which I didn't really pick up on in the original Katherine, but Troy Baker, I call him Troy like I'm his friend, I'm clearly not, Troy Baker, who plays Vincent Brooks, for some reason his performance in this seemed very flat. Like his emotion did not match what Vincent was showing, either through the script itself or his visual like anguish that he was going for. It was very flat, which I don't remember because I remember having fond memories of it before. So I might actually go back and check to see if it was just kind of updated. And I don't know, maybe Troy was a bit overworked. I'm not sure. Normally that's not the case with him. Normally he's a very good voice actor, but he did feel very flat in this for some reason. Okay, enough of me nagging, and moaning and just going blah all over the game. Let's get to the really good parts. Straight away, music's fantastic. It was in the original and they've added some extra tracks. I think it's 17 tracks they've added and they're just great. It's simple as that. They're so good, so easy to listen to. Some remixes of like classical songs, which just fit fantastically. For example, the final boss fight, oh, it's just beautiful. I love it, it's great. when you complete your level, you get to like a landing where you get to speak to other sheep. There's so many more sheep which are added in this one, which is great. It kind of felt a bit empty on the original Katherine, but now there's loads of different characters, loads of different personalities, so that's nice and fleshed out. One of the biggest things I kind of disliked in the original Katherine was Katherine with a K. She kind of felt like overbearing a lot of the time, and she didn't really have that much of a personality. In this, they fixed it. They've added loads of little past events or memories, which you can kind of see, and you grow to really like Katherine with a K, which is great, because she was definitely missing in the original, even though I picked her and got her true ending in both this and the original, but hey, whatever. There are also a lot more karma choices, so there are a lot more questions which have a little impact and fill your little meter. Well, I'm not going to say what the meter is exactly, but your blue meter or your red meter. I don't want to give away the kind of twist that it's added to it, what those actually mean for the blue and reds, but you can figure out pretty quickly who they relate to, whether it's Katherine with a K, Katherine with a C. Not with Rin, though. We'll say Rin doesn't get a little meter, so that's kind of like a hidden thing. If you want to go the Rin path, you got to really kind of dig deep and figure out what it would be, what you need to do to try and go with Rin, if you are so inclined. Another neat little touch which I really liked was players which have played the game or are currently playing that night. I'm not sure how it works. Maybe they're all online at the same time. They show up at the start of the levels when you wake up, or go into your dream, sorry. You don't wake up from your dream. Well, you do, unless you die. But yeah, you go into your dream and you get to see other sheep with all different weird hats and pillows and stuff with the names of players who are also playing the game, which I thought was a nice little touch. Also linking with that is you get your questions, which you would have seen in the video. You get questions, you go into a confessional, and then it's pretty much either you go the blue route or the red route with the questions. There's also the little stat meter at the end, little pie chart, which shows what first time players, which option they chose. Also, which of the choices the men between 20 and 30, or in their 20s and 30s, and the women in their 20s and 30s picked, which I just thought is another nice little touch. It's not really an online game, but it's good that you kind of have that network interactivity. So that'll do for this review from me anyway, because I really don't want to spoil it. Like I said, there's 3 routes you can go down. Whether you go with Katherine with a C, the crazy Katherine, you go with Katherine with a K, the more relationship-oriented Katherine, or Rin, the new pianist with the pink hair. So yeah, like I said, in this ending, I got the true ending for Katherine with a K, which I guess isn't too bad. Straight away getting a true ending. But yeah, 13 different endings. Which one do you get? But I definitely recommend this game. It's not going to be for everyone, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. The actual story itself and the characters, they're pretty ding-dang-dong-darn hilarious. So enjoy yourselves, enjoy Katherine full body. Now I just have to repress that my mum's name's Katherine.